Hello, everyone, and welcome to, well, kind of a special episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle. We're not going to be doing our traditional way of doing things this week. Traditionally, I stream these live, and then the video goes up later, and we usually go through Raw, SmackDown, NXT, everything on that side, and we go over some news. So, this week, since I was not able to get into into that mode of everything, we're going to be more of a more news heavy side of everything, with everything that's been going on. The main thing that's been going on, and we can kind of go through what happened with Raw and SmackDown a little bit to go along with it throughout the week, and we're going to kind of go through a quick overview of what Monday Night Raw is going to be tonight, since we're doing this on a Monday morning. So, last week, and I did a special video on this, kind of giving my thoughts and opinions of what was going down, but with Daniel Bryan's return last week, kind of sent the wrestling world a buzz. Like, pretty much leaving everything else in the terms of the news, kind of like a little bit moot, in that sense of everything, because we did have some other big stuff that was going down. One of which being Sunday night with Strong Style Evolve from New Japan Pro Wrestling being out here, being here in the U.S. to go along with everything. Me personally, I have not been able to watch it. I don't have access. This is going to be a fun one. I don't have access to Access TV, so I wasn't able to watch it live, and it would only go up as VOD at some point today with the New Japan World. So I have yet to watch it. I kind of read what was going on with everything on that side of everything, just kind of little tidbits here for the main matches. One, Naito did go over in his 8-man tag, kind of breaking his little slump that he had been in through losing at Wrestle Kingdom, and then losing to Zack Sabre Jr. In the first round of the New Japan Cup, which has kind of been their thing now. Like, the person who ends up losing in the main event at Wrestle Kingdom will enter the New Japan Cup in the hopes of trying to get another title shot, and then they lose in the first round. At least in my experience of what I've been seeing and what I've been reading through New Japan, I'm still very new at it. It happened with Kenny Omega last year, where he lost in the first round of the New Japan Cup. I believe it was to Shibata. I forget who it was off the top of my head on that side of everything. But Naito this year, he lost in the main event match at Wrestle Kingdom, enters the New Japan Cup, and loses to Zack Sabre Jr. in the first round. That's kind of been their little trend that they have going on right now. Or at least the trend that I've seen over the last couple of years. I haven't really read into too much of everything else for the other New Japan Cups and everything on that side. So it'll be interesting to see where they go along with everything. With more New Japan Cups down the line for next year and everything, and the year after that, and everything to go along with that. But he won in his 8-man tag. Again, since names are, I only really know the bigger names, or at least like what were supposed to be the bigger matches. On that side, I'm still new to New Japan, so give me a little bit of time with names and everything on that side. What was it? You had Okada and Ishii in a tag team match against, so you had Chaos going up against Suzuki-gun with Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. picks up the victory for Suzuki-gun by tapping out Ishii on that one. And a lot of people actually a little bit surprised on that, because Ishii's been kind of this person who doesn't tap out all that much, and now Zack Sabre Jr. got him to tap out. Now, it wasn't Okada, and, Zack Sabre Jr. won the New Japan Cup as challenging Okada at Sakura Genesis. Upcoming event here very soon. So you kind of expected that they wouldn't do something where one of the other pinned the other one. You kind of leave it open going into the actual bigger event and the title match to go along with that. You also had Switchblade Jay White defending the IWGP United States title against Hangman Page, with Jay White going over. Again, I have yet to see these matches. I'm going to try to watch them a little bit down the line, see how good they were, everything on that side of it. And we'll see where everything goes to go along with that. And then the main event of the night was the Young Bucks going up against Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, known as the Golden Lovers. They do have the Golden Lovers go over in the match in this one. Again, I'm looking forward to kind of watching this, so I'm not really giving details about the match at the time. There's more details and storytelling at the end, where you had Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson kind of almost split up a little bit, where, you know, Kenny was kind of wanting to help Matt Jackson out, but he kind of brushes him off. But Nick Jackson is kind of for Kenny Omega. Cody Rhodes gets involved in there as well. I may do a full review of it if I do get to watch the entire show. It seemed like it was an interesting show and a very good one to watch, but we'll definitely see down the line here if I'll get to do something for that. So let's go back into more news side of everything. Let's go more into Daniel Bryan stuff. I had kind of given my thoughts and opinions on the whole Daniel Bryan being cleared, how I feel. Am I going to be... It's like you're excited that he gets to be back in the ring, but I'm going to be on pins and needles watching his matches here in the very near future as well, because guess what? You know, he had all of these different, different concussion issues and injuries and everything on that side. So you're almost going to be on pins and needles each time. Well, we got some more news about this whole Daniel Bryan getting cleared and what it was going to be about it. So the deal is that Daniel Bryan in January went up to the Dr. James, I believe it's Dr. Maroon from WWE, and asked him to, basically asked him to try to reevaluate his situation, his condition. And the thing that he came up with was, he went to him and said, send me the 3 specialists that you trust the most in the world. And if they clear me, reevaluate and maybe clear me to, get back in the ring. So you basically had 3 guys who would have their sub bosses, and then Maroon was going to be the final boss because he was going to be the final one to clear him. And basically he said, if any one of those 3 say no, you shouldn't be going in the ring, then I'll leave it be at that point in time. So they did. They sent them off to 3 different neurologists, specialists, and concussions, everything on that side. Their names I don't have off the top of my head at this moment, but they're supposed to be world-renowned, highly trusted on that side. And all 3 of them cleared them. So this is kind of the story of how this went about. And so initially, apparently, he was supposed to meet with Dr. Maroon on the 26th of March. So he was supposed to meet him today, initially. But it got bumped up a week by probably aspects of Vince and people wanting to have... their game plan is to have Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon team up against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. At least that's where we feel like it's going. So they wanted plans to be put in place. So it got bumped up a week. So he met him on Monday last week is when they kind of had the meeting and everything on that side, and Maroon cleared him. It's okay, all 3 of them cleared him. He went through his evaluation. It's okay, but there are caveats to it. The main caveat on this one, and I'm actually kind of glad they're doing this as well, to a certain degree, is to go along with everything. And this is probably going to also indicate what kind of schedule Daniel Bryan's going to be keeping as well inside of the WWE. One, after every single one of his matches, he is going to go through the concussion protocol. So he's going to go through their impact testing and everything on that side, their concussion protocol after every single one of his matches, which leads you to believe that he's not going to have a very heavy schedule starting off. And they're going to be doing this for him until they feel comfortable, more comfortable than already they're comfortable enough to clear him, but there are probably still some reservations about everything as well. So this is kind of one of those deals about it, is that he goes through an impact test every time he goes through the concussion protocol after doing a match, or probably even doing the stuff he did on SmackDown as well, where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn beat him down, everything on that side, the apron powerbomb. He probably had to go through impact test after doing that as well. So it leads you to believe that his schedule is going to be a little bit more of a lighter one. He might not be doing as many house shows, and he might not be doing as many TV matches as we were initially thinking. And I mean, honestly, that's a good thing. We'll leave it at that. It's a good thing, because he's had a history of concussions, everything on that side, and they're taking every precaution that they can with it about him getting back in the ring. Now, many different people kind of left this open as like, okay, is this open up the floodgates for people who are said that they will never be able to get back in the ring again? It hasn't been officially said with Paige, though a lot of people are led to believe that she'll never be able to be back in the WWE ring again, based off of what her next situation is, and based off of what had happened at that house show with her in the ring getting kicked in the back by Sasha, and then all of a sudden kind of losing function of everything at that time. So it was so does that leave it open for them? I think these are different cases, and even Edge has kind of said he would never step in the ring again. Like I feel like the whole thing with Daniel Bryan and like things like Paige and Edge and a few others are completely different ones. That there's a big difference between, even though we know a lot more about the concussions and everything on that side, and yes, one wrong bump could lead to another one for Daniel Bryan. There's a high probability that there are different situations with things like Paige and Edge. Edge has even come out on his podcast saying they would never clear me again because if it's one wrong bump, I'm paralyzed. He's like permanent injury, potentially paralyzed, and that could be the same thing for Paige at this point in time as well. So it's highly unlikely that they would, ever clear the two of them again at this point in time. Though it kind of opens the door a little bit. It opens the door for somebody else who's now on commentary. And honestly, I wouldn't mind if he stayed on commentary too and decides like, yeah, I'm good. And that would be Corey Graves. As people know, down in with NXT, Corey Graves was a wrestler before he was a commentator, and he was pretty good in the ring. He was pretty good as a character, everything on that side. He was kind of growing in his in-ring style and everything on that side, but he had to retire due to concussions and started doing his work on the commentary side of everything. Does this open the door for him? Technically, it kind of does. If he wants to get reevaluated and everything on that side of everything. But there's also probably a heavy good possibility that Corey Graves wants to just do commentary at this point in time. He's really good at it, and he seems to really enjoy that as well. But it does leave that door open to him now with the fact that Daniel Bryan was able to get cleared from the concussions and everything on that side. He was able to get himself re-cleared, and now it does leave that door open for Corey Graves if he still has the itch of wanting to get in the ring in some way, shape, or form. So it'll be interesting to see if they decide to go anywhere with that as well. So that's kind of the news side of everything that went down, and a little bit more of what was going down with the Daniel Bryan situation as well. On that side of everything. So let's go through a little bit of what happened on Raw and SmackDown. And by that, I mean, we're going to do kind of a Raw preview, kind of going over everything. So, Raw preview that they had was, so it basically starts off like this. So one of the things that they have on there, does Finn Balor owe Seth Rollins another rematch? Well, they did have a match recently where a really good match too, that Finn Balor ended out winning with a roll up after a superplex. on that side of everything. So they're kind of playing that up a little bit more. They're playing up more into the Nia Jax pursuing Alexa Bliss. So last week, Nia Jax came down after the match had ended with Asuka and Alexa Bliss and kind of tore through Mickie James in her pursuit of wanting to get to Alexa, and then was kind of chasing Alexa off after the fact. Other thing that they have on here, will Roman Reigns be 100% for WrestleMania? What they ended up doing last week was Roman kind of trespassed. So he trespasses into the arena. He's been suspended. He comes to the arena anyway, gets in the ring saying he wants Brock. He wants Brock. Everything on that side. He wasn't going to leave until he got some kind of answers. So, and Kurt says like, "Well, we're prepared for this," and then they send out guys who are dressed up as U.S. Marshals, and they arrest him. And as he's being handcuffed, all of a sudden Brock Lesnar's music hits. He comes down. This is after Reigns had kind of beaten up the Marshals, yes, as handcuffed and everything on that side. But then he kind of realizes, like, oh crap, here comes Lesnar, and I'm still handcuffed. Grabs a chair, and then he gets, basically beaten down by Lesnar multiple times. Where he had beaten him down. So Roman looks like he's kind of still stirring and everything. So Lesnar's just like runs back in the ring, continues beating him down. This is to the point that they have him on a stretcher. He comes out one more time and kind of flips the stretcher and everything on that side. So they're playing off, will Roman Reigns be 100% going into WrestleMania? They're trying to build a little bit more sympathy towards Reigns in this case. Though it's kind of weird. He beats up U.S. Marshals and then we're supposed to really feel sympathetic. Now, it does kind of suck on the aspect that he was handcuffed when he got beaten down. So he was beaten when he was defenseless. But he's also technically should be arrested for beating up the Marshals. We'll go on that. So there's different ways of playing that. Though they are doing it quite well with this factor of Brock Lesnar getting booed. They're portraying him as a guy who just doesn't care. And I like it. I like what they're doing with Brock. I actually like the storyline that they're building up with it. That it has gotten Roman kind of cheered a little bit more with the factors of him kind of coming off more as a guy who wants to be there for the fans that are there, everything on that side. And they're portraying Brock as like a guy who's like picks his opportunities and everything on that side. More than likely, they'll also do some more building with the Women's Battle Royal and the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal as well on the show. Kind of more people getting announced. They're probably going to continue this stuff that they're doing with Bayley and Sasha as well. They will more than likely be in that Battle Royal, but they have this sub-storyline. And they did some really good stuff on Monday. At least I felt like they did, where both of them feel are kind of got good motivation for doing what they're doing at this point in time. Like Sasha's like, I'm just trying to win, and Bayley, that's why I kind of did what I did, and then Bayley basically in response is like, it's not what you did, it was how you did it, because it wasn't just like, and you can even go back and watch the Elimination Chamber. It was like, when you kicked me off the pod, you had a smirk on your face, you smiled like you enjoyed doing it. And that was the image that kind of set Bayley off on that side. So they got some good motivations on both sides there. And it'll be interesting to see where they continue on with that. And more likely it'll be with the Battle Royal. Hopefully they build up some more people to kind of make it a little bit more like unpredictable who's going to win the Women's Battle Royal. And same with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal as well. So we'll see where they go along with everything. They have Braun Strowman in need of a tag team partner. It'll be interesting to see if he kind of is recruiting someone or if he's already got a tag team partner and is just going to get revealed at the at WrestleMania with Strowman to go along with that. And they kind of play it up as it almost can be anyone now. You do have many different little storylines, such as like either Elias, or you could even just have like Samoa Joe returns and he comes in and teams up with Braun, things like that. Some pretty good stuff on that one, and it'll be interesting to see what they go with them with Braun, whomever his partner ends up being in the bar on that side. Also, last week we had the Ultimate Deletion, and basically their preview for this is like, what's Woken Matt's next move? So we had the Ultimate Deletion. And I'm going to go off and say this. It was good. I liked it. I found it very enjoyable. I found like it was enough of like a little bit of seriousness and cheeseball hokiness to go along with it. I thought it was a pretty good one. I'm not like, I don't feel like I liked it as much as maybe some of the other stuff, and maybe it was a little bit more overproduced than what it was in Impact Wrestling, but I still felt like it was enjoyable and good. I especially liked the Scooby-Doo-esque moment, the Benny Hill type, Bray Wyatt chasing Matt Hardy through the field of obsolete men, or I believe it's either the field or cemetery of obsolete men. And I love the little bits of comedy in there. I like the throwback of the dilapidated city, basically being a throwback to Bray's kind of burnt home, everything on that little side. They did some really good stuff here. The ending basically had basically having like these little flashbacks and everything, also a little weirdness coming up through everything, like Senior Benjamin shows up in there, and they do have Rebby, and they do make mention to King Maxwell and Lord Wolfgang, but they don't really have them do anything during the match because I don't expect them to have kids doing anything on that side of it. A little, I don't feel like they'll go that far like they did in Impact Wrestling, but I guess you never know that they decide to do more of them. And so the end came up with like Jeff Hardy showing up at the end as well as Brother Nero. So we get Brother Nero in the actual portion of the match, which led to Bray getting pinned by the Twist of Fate, and then getting thrown into the Lake of Reincarnation, and then Senior Benjamin was supposed to fetch him out, and he was gone. Completely gone. So Matt has deemed him fully deleted at this point in time. He also had the little bit at the beginning. I love the aspect of him playing off the Follow the Buzzards thing, based off of the whole showing up on Vanguard 1 in the hologram going like, Bray Wyatt, welcome to the Hardy Compound. Follow the music. Good stuff. I enjoyed it. And also it was deemed as a success as well. It kind of kept the attention of... it did keep the attention of everything. You did have the typical third hour drop-off. But it ended out staying at a relatively good level. And it was deemed as a success as the kind of Raw main event on that side. They kind of put it in a main event spot to let it either crash and burn, or succeed. And according to everything, Vince is apparently really high on the Broken Matt character, but he wanted to kind of know whether or not it was going to crash and burn or succeed based off of what had happened with the House of Horrors match. So he put it in the main event slot to kind of go off of that. It was a little bit weird that they apparently didn't show it in the arena. Then again, apparently also the House of Horrors was not received well in the arena either. So the San Jose arena when they originally did that. So interesting stuff on that one. So the preview basically says, what is Woken Matt's next move? And after that, they're also previewing the John Cena Kane match, which basically Cena came out again last week, calling Undertaker a coward, everything on that side, wanting him to just do something versus doing nothing. And Kane ends out coming out. Cena does like this overreaction to Kane coming out. It's like, is this going to be my answer? And then Kane just chokeslams him to go along with it. So that's kind of the Raw preview going into this week. And yeah, that's a little bit of a different episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle. We usually do it in a different light. I usually go through everything on that side, but I decided to kind of do it a little bit differently this week due to kind of time constraints, everything on that side. So with that being said, though, Raw looks like it could be an interesting one. SmackDown could definitely be an interesting one as well, with the factors of Daniel Bryan Probably teaming up with Shane against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn did crash a house show over the weekend, and they even have what was it? Kevin Owens even did change his Twitter to instead of being Kevin Owens, being Kevin Steen, and even furthermore, he got rid of the Fight Owens fight, and he does Fight Steen fight to go along with that. So he's definitely playing up to kayfabe on that one. A lot more on that side, and I do kind of like that to go along with. So. And of course, more build up with Charlotte and Asuka, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. They did a really good bit with them on Monday, or not Monday, but Tuesday, where Styles, who is injured at the moment, but so he was out there during the Nakamura Rusev match after. Nakamura wins, Aiden English and Rusev are beating him down. AJ kind of takes his time, and by the time he was about to get ready in the ring, Shinsuke kind of gets rid of him. They do a backstage segment where sorry, where AJ's walking backstage. He runs into Shinsuke, and Shinsuke's about to say something. It's like, hold on, I know what you're gonna say. You're going to beat me at WrestleMania. And then Shinsuke, best line ever, at least best line that I've heard him deliver. It's like, AJ, you should have more confidence in yourself. But yes, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania with a knee to face. It was good. It was good stuff. And like I said, some more build with Asuka and Charlotte. Probably some more build with the Bludgeon Brothers and the Usos. And probably the New Day in there in some way, shape, or form as well. Should be an interesting week for WWE programming. Next week we will go back into more of the traditional format, some news, and then reviewing through Raw, SmackDown, and NXT as well. But with that being said, everyone, this ends this episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle. I hope you guys enjoyed everything, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.